Good day, everyone. I am Irene M. Delmonte from Group 3, and our group is tasked to discuss the Chapter 3 of Christian Harrison's book on leadership theory and research. The previous chapter examined and evaluated the different early approaches and theories of leadership. The shortcomings and limitations of these different theories led to develop newer and alternative approaches to understanding leadership. These new approaches to leadership are implicit leadership theories, leader-member exchange, servant leadership, charismatic, transactional, transformational, distributed, authentic, and entrepreneurial leadership. So, as the word emerging suggests, emerging theories are new approaches to leadership. This chapter argues that leadership is an underdeveloped phenomenon for which no unified theory currently exists. So let's get started. Okay, so the first one is implicit leadership theory, which is viewed subjectively from the lens of the followers. So perception of leadership is dependent on the traits, behavior, and outcomes produced by the leader. The second is leader-member exchange theory. So this leadership is based on the relationship and interaction between leaders and followers. So leaders develop different types of relationships with individual group members, which are known as dyads. The third theory is servant leadership theory, which represents a radical shift from the perception of a leader as an all-knowing individual to that of a selfless servant. According to Greenleaf, servant leaders put their service before self-interest, earn trust by being trustworthy, help others to discover themselves, and listen actively to the problems of the group rather than impose their will on others. Let us continue to our next theory, which is charismatic leadership theory. The word charisma is a Greek word that means a gift of God's grace or divine power according to Conger. The current theories of charismatic leadership were strongly influenced by Max Weber. So, according to him, charisma occurs when a leader emerges with a radical vision that offers solution to a crisis or problem and as a result enables followers to believe in the vision. Moving on to our next theory, we have here transactional leadership, which is deeply rooted in the notion of the path goal theory, which is based on contingent rewards. So this is one of the important elements in the transactional leadership. Contingent reward is where the transactional leader provides rewards for good effort. He or she wants to recognize good performance. So it's contingent. The follower only gets the reward if he or she performs well. So basically, it's conditional. This is another important element in the transformational leadership, which is management by exception. It is where the transactional leader steps in when something's not going well or when the follower is not going well. So the leader does this to maintain the status quo, and he or she intervene where subordinates don't meet the acceptable performance levels. So the intervention can be initiated, negative feedback, corrective action to improve performance, or punishment. The next theory is transformational theory. So for the past 30 years, transformational leadership has been the most debated and studied aspect in the domain of leadership. For Burns and Bayes, transformational leadership involves stimulating followers to go beyond their self-interests in order to achieve organizational goals or objectives. Another way of conceptualizing leadership that has emerged in recent years is that of distributed leadership. So the term distributed leadership has been used interchangeably with terms such as shared leadership, team leadership, or participative leadership. So it's a type of leadership that involves interaction between people and their situation. Distributed leadership does not involve a single individual, but it is a collective effort of the group. The next is authentic leadership, which gives premium to ethical considerations within the organization. It must be clear to the leaders what is right and what is wrong as far as ethics is concerned. So these attributes are seen in authentic leaders: self-knowledge, clarity of their values, and enacting their roles based on their values and convictions. And the last leadership theory in chapter 3 is entrepreneurial leadership theory. So, entrepreneurial leadership is a new paradigm that has emerged from the domains of leadership and entrepreneurship. Leadership and entrepreneurship are concepts that have been difficult to define. Entrepreneurship is a concept of starting a business to gain profit, while leadership is a skill and ability to lead or motivate group of people in the purpose of achieving common goal. So, entrepreneurial leadership involves organizing and motivating a group of people to achieve a common objective through innovation, risk optimization, taking advantage of opportunities, and managing the dynamic organizational environment. Well, there are 8 main approaches utilized in examining the concept of entrepreneurial leadership. So the first one is convergence of entrepreneurship and leadership. Entrepreneurial leadership has been considered as a convergence of entrepreneurship and leadership, according to Fernald. Coglisser and Brigham, in comparative review of the fields of leadership and entrepreneurship, acknowledge that both fields overlap in the areas of vision, influence, innovation, and creativity and planning. Moreover, it is agreed that both entrepreneurs and leaders have common characteristics. The second is psychological and behavioral profile of entrepreneurial leader. Since entrepreneurial leaders are vulnerable to mental health issues due to uncertainty, expectations, and the likes, they should look after their mental health well-being by having time for self-care. Pitfalls refer to the problems faced by the leadership researchers. It includes methodological, definitional, conceptual measurement, and analytical challenges. So the field of entrepreneurship can avoid the pitfalls that exist in the field of leadership. Then, let's have theoretical approach to entrepreneurial leadership. Most studies on entrepreneurial leadership have taken a theoretical approach rather an empirical approach. Strategies and insights presented by Karatko and Hornsby serve as a foundation for understanding of entrepreneurial leadership. So these emphasize the revitalization of innovation, creativity, and managerial development in corporations. Now, let's have leadership values. So, according to Cramel Jr., people become effective leaders when they are rooted in who they are and what matters most to them. So, what are these leadership values? Well, these are core beliefs and principles that guide us in our personal and professional lives. There are also a strong set of core values. As a leader, helps build respect and trust among the members. So these values play an important role in guiding how we make decisions and what actions we take on a daily basis as a leader. So moreover, it creates a strong foundation for us to influence our team in a positive way that encourages high performance and excellence. Hence, Suri and Ashley suggested 4 leadership values that they considered as important in entrepreneurial leadership. These are joy, charity, hope, and peace. Now, let's discuss the relation of each of these values to entrepreneurial leadership. So, joy, it is when you practice joy as a core value when you embrace real contentment. Then, charity is a practice of voluntary giving of help to those in need. So, knowing that you're helping others is hugely empowering in return can make you feel happier and more fulfilled, which is a sentiment very much rooted in our personal values and principles. Hope is the power to believe that anything is possible. So, it's a fresh start, a second chance, or wish upon a miracle. So, with hope, there is that window of opportunity or new light for reassurance that possibilities are endless, and as long as you believe, anything can happen. Then the last one is peace. The need for peace in our lives cannot be overstated, but what are the benefits of having it as one of your core values? Well, when we have peace in our lives, we feel a sense of calmness, tranquility, and silence. Now let's go to the entrepreneurial leadership and venture performance. So the upsurge of interest in entrepreneurial leadership can be attributed, at least in part, to the assertion by some scholars that it is important for improved performance and organizational success, since studies have also shown that entrepreneurial leadership has a positive and direct effect on sales, performance, organizational success, customer satisfaction, address problems of startup failures, manage resources, positive influence on employees' creativity, and stimulates innovative spirit. So, in summary, every theory has its strong and weak points, but all these theories want us to realize that there is no perfect leadership. Nevertheless, as long as you build a community with clear goals and values, everyone can make extraordinary things to happen. Also, given the characteristics of each type of leadership, leaders can actually employ more than one type in his or her own leadership. This implies that if not all, most of the types can actually complement one another. So, I believe that each of us has his own set of leadership skills. So, when we are given a chance to show it because we are elected, chosen, or appointed, then we must always do our best. Let us remember that a leader does not only aim for the success of his organization, but he also aims to influence his subordinates or members to become the best version of themselves. So that ends our report. Thank you very much and have a good day.